Greetings, Upstanders. Dr. O here. And so I want to be very clear. Like, what I'm talking about is not about like Kendrick Lamar. Like, people feel like I hate Kendrick Lamar, like I'm going at him because all the time because of, the Rwanda stuff and all of these different things. It has nothing to do with that. When I talk about somebody or when I critique something, it's because I have, well, I'm not even talking about like some of these politicians out here, these racist MAGA and all the other type of stuff. But I, criticize like celebrities and different people like that. It's because I actually respect them and I feel like they can do more. And people feel like critiquing somebody is dissing them. And I'm not there for that. Like I rap, I can write diss tracks if I want. That's not my thing. So let's talk about this story out there about Kendrick Lamar and his wife paying like $347,000 to pay off school lunch debt. So there's two or three issues we have to be mindful of with this particular thing. The first issue is that I cannot find any what I would consider to be reputable sources to prove that this is true. Every story I have seen, the text has pretty much been the same. Something like no cameras, no whatever. Kendrick Lamar and his wife pay off this debt. The text is pretty much the same. I only see it in social media spaces and random YouTube accounts from like the UK, and people are putting like a Power 106 label on some of their pictures. I went to Power 106's website. I don't see it, and I'm not convinced that it's an actual true story with everything that's going on with. So this is my first problem. I actually get to Kendrick Lamar and other celebrities shortly. Um, I saw a story earlier this week, and I'm sure many of you all saw that Jasmine Crockett gave $25 million to victims of the flood in Hurricane, because she's from Texas, so on and so forth. Not true. And people are circulating it. Oh, this is awesome. She's an angel. She's incredible. Of course, she is incredible. She's the bomb. Like, we got all of it. We without that story, but it's not true. And so, again, as I've said in some of the debates that I've had with people online about this, and I'll get to what I'm actually debating people about, I'm still not convinced that this story is true. And if you have a better accurate description, a better accurate source, like a journal, a hip hop magazine, a hip hop journalist, something that you can share with me, until I see that, I'm not convinced. Here's the other problem, however. I said that I understand the concept of anonymous giving. I understand the concept of being selfless and all of that other type of stuff. But damn that, in our community, we need people to be vocal about their giving because it inspires other people to want to give as well. I'm going to go to sports and entertain in music in a second. But let's talk about black fathers, for example. Many of you all know so many stories of people who have said they don't know what it's like to be about a good black father because they haven't seen one. Now we know statistically more black fathers are involved in the home than other groups, according at least to the CDC. We understand that story. So look, I'm not going there and say, "Oh my God, black father," but people understand that seeing one helps people become one, right? Like we've all seen that. Or I spoke at a conference and this one black teenager said like if my community had more black men like you, there'd be so many things better. So look, we understand the difference a positive black male presence can make in our homes and in our community, right? So that's just a personal thing for many of us in our community, and same for seeing positive black women as well. So that's very personal for many of us in our community. Let's take it out to the entertainment world. Seeing black artists contribute and do positive things in our community and speak on it encourages other black celebrities to want to do the same. It encouraged black people who are not celebrities, who haven't seen that example, to also want to do the same. Why is it a problem that I said if Kendrick Lamar actually did this, he should speak about that? Not as a, ooh, I'm the greatest, come pat my back, look at me. No, to encourage other people to do the same. People are like, well, that's not his job. He doesn't need to. I'm like, if you can get the entire world calling another black man a pedophile at the Super Bowl and at every award show and across the globe, if you can successfully take another black man down and make it an international anthem, you could come out and say, I wiped out this school debt. Or have your publicist mention it again if the story is true. To encourage other people to give. When I was coming up, in like the 80s and 90s and stuff, somebody watching like basketball and all of that, I didn't see stories about people like Charles Barkley or Michael Jordan or like Magic Johnson and stuff giving back to the community. It was after Magic Johnson retired and started setting up his businesses and stuff that we started seeing these stories about the Magic Johnson theaters and stuff he was doing in the communities. I'm not saying none of these guys were ever doing it. It's what I'm saying, if they were doing stuff we didn't know. Jay-Z said that coming up in the Marcy projects, if a guy got out of the projects and became a lawyer or a doctor, he would never know because they would never come back to the community. And that's why Jay-Z says he makes it a point to speak up about his charitable giving. Michael Jordan has given a lot to a lot of but organizations, but never really spoke about it. Look at LeBron James conversely. LeBron James has his foundation. He talks about his schools. He's got like a whole community in Akron, like on his back and stuff. And other players say, yo, that what LeBron is doing, I want to do that for my hood. Service inspires service. And you don't see LeBron James saying, I'm the greatest because I'm this humanitarian. I'm the best because I've given back. No, the one person, celebrity that I grew up with who I saw making it a point to speak up about his charitable work was Michael Jackson, which is the reason he's my favorite artist. It's one of the reasons he's my favorite artist of all time. The other reason is many of his hits were actually songs about social justice, and I've never seen anybody do that consistently. But he would talk about his work on the continent. I saw a story that at one point the UNCF, the United Negro College Fund, stayed open because of his work, his contributions, right? We need to see that to inspire that. I saw a story that Beyonce and Jay-Z's donations to the Black Lives Matter organization, when at one point when it was struggling, helped keep it afloat. We need people to speak on that. If people can publicize, music with their misogyny in it and N-word and B-word this and all of that other type of stuff, they can speak up about the service that they're engaged in. I believe Megan Thee Stallion has like a hospital in Texas, and Beyonce has some type of community center, or maybe I'm mixing up the which one is doing which. This should not be a problem to state, and it shouldn't be a problem to have high expectations for our artists. And people are just like, can't we just celebrate this story? And I'm like, if it's true, like, can't we just celebrate this story? Can't we just be happy that? And no, I'm just not that dude. I'm just not. I'm going to have higher expectations of people. And look, I forked out the money to go to the Kendrick Lamar's concert. And my daughters wanted to go and took on that was that was a grip. I'm just saying. And I'm like, yo. And of course, I respect a lot of his music. I would say probably my favorite song is because I'm into political stuff. I like hood politics on many levels. But he's given us a lot of anthems. We gonna be all right and all of that other type of stuff, and that's fine. And I think it's great that he gives us these anthems. I personally wish he would speak more on things happening directly, particularly in his own community, Los Angeles, and what's happening with immigration and all that other type of stuff. And it's clear that Kendrick Lamar is not going to be that dude. Okay. He can give us the anthems, and that's great, and we can praise that, but I can also critique him for going to perform in front of Paul Kagame in Rwanda. A man who's responsible for killing millions of people, like almost 10 million people now in the Congo. Like, he shouldn't have done that. No one's beyond critique. And I think sometimes our expectations of people in our community are so low that we take any little thing that they give us and run with it. And with everything going on in this world, I just believe that we need more. And I'm never going to change as it relates to that. And so, again, I don't think this story is actually true based on what limited, legit information that I'm seeing. Two, if it is true, he, his publicist or something, I feel like they should speak on it just in a press announcement, because there's other young rappers looking up to him, and they, when they see that, they're going to want to do that. People will be what they see. And I think that we need more examples of that. And three, I think that it's important for us in general to have higher expectations of our artists, especially ones whose music, on some levels, not all, have promoted, a good amount of misogyny and negative language towards our community. And I just think that it's a good thing for them to speak up when they do positive things, because it can inspire more. And I think that's one of the reasons Jay Z has spoken up about it. Like, I'm a big fan. I was a fan of Carmelo Anthony, the basketball player. And, he's part Puerto Rican, part African American, I believe. Yeah. And when I was in Puerto Rico, I was walking around. I turned my head and I see the Carmelo Anthony basketball court. And learned about the things he was doing in the community there. I just think that that type of giving inspires other people to want to do the same. And in a lot of our communities, many of us have not seen those examples. So if you're doing it, it's not egotistical. It's not come praise me, come worship at my feet to speak about this. And in the music business, the Snoops of the world and all of these guys with the music that they've put out in the world, like if you're doing stuff that's building up the community, beautiful, share it. Speak more positively on it so we can do more. That's what I think. What do you think on any part of what I said? Looking forward to your thoughts. Peace.